Hi, it's Karen from the Hyperlinked Library MOOC here, and this is the Online Personal Learning Network assignment. So I thought I would show you some of the resources in my Online Personal Learning Network. So I'm going to start with my absolute favourite, which is Twitter. Now, I'm following 440 people or organisations on Twitter, and the vast majority of them are librarians. So every day I can jump on and I can find out what's up, I can have conversations with them, they quite often post really interesting articles or blog posts, which I can follow up and read and retweet and share with other people. I think it's a really indispensable resource for librarians, and it really enables me to find out so much more and really improve my work. The other groups and organisations I follow are people involved with online technologies and social media. I am an online branch librarian, so this is all really interesting to me, and even though it's not strictly related to libraries, the skills and ideas that come from those people and those organisations are really helpful in my everyday work. If there's a conference coming up that I can't attend, I can quite often do a search for it in Twitter and find out what's going on, because people will tweet from those conferences. And there are a few groups I'm also in on Twitter where I can share things with other librarians in that specific group, such as there's a Hyperlinked Library MOOC group. So this is just an example, for example, Mashable there. So it's not strictly librarians, but it gives me some good ideas. And being a Sunday, there's not as many librarians active on here, but there's a few out there and a few ideas bouncing around. So my other resource is LinkedIn. So this is my LinkedIn page. I'll just scroll up to the top. There I am. Now I really need to update this and work on it a bit more, but the really useful thing in LinkedIn is these groups and associations. So I've got ALIA, Australian Library and Information Association, GovJobs Network, IFLA, Internet Librarian International, and Local Government ICT Group. Now this is really relevant to me. I work in local government and I'm an Australian librarian, so I've kind of tailored my groups to what I do. These groups are really useful. There's people posting all sorts of articles and starting up discussions, which I always like to be involved in the discussions. And I find you can share things to LinkedIn that you can also share with Twitter, so it's really useful like that. Now my other form of personal learning network is via blogs. So I subscribe to quite a number of blogs. I've just got a couple here as examples. Librarian in Black and David Lee King are two that I've subscribed to for quite a while now. The great thing about these is you can subscribe via email or you can set up a feed reader. I tend to do both. I prefer email because I'm checking it all the time, so I see it straight away. But I also have some on Flipboard on my phone as well, so I've got a little libraries section set out in there for my blogs. I find them I love the way that they're so informal, and I find them very interesting to read, and they're very practical. The other thing I like to read and use are the comments in blogs. It's quite useful to see what other people have to say about the topic, and there's often quite a bit of debate in there, so I can find them often as interesting as the blog post itself. The other place I go to is Google+. I don't use this as much as the others, but I think this is a really important part and a growing part of my personal library network. So I've set up a little library circle, so just for friends from libraries, where they can post all sorts of things that are related to what we do. And I'm also part of a couple of library communities. So at the moment we've got libraries and librarians in changing ebooks for libraries. Now these are very similar to the LinkedIn groups, they're just on a different format. I would like to subscribe to more varied groups. That's kind of my aim as well. Now Facebook, again, I tend to use Facebook for my own social personal things, but I do have some library related information on here in groups. So I'm in the ALIA social media group, and this gives me all sorts of tips. There's something about MOOCs there on things related to social media in libraries, and we can start up some good discussions there and really connect with other librarians. And that tends to just come up in my Facebook newsfeed. Now, Public Libraries Connect. Now, this is run through the State Library of Queensland, and I subscribe to the newsletter. I used to subscribe to a PLN list when I worked in public libraries in New South Wales. Since I've moved up here, I've wanted to know more about what's going on in the public libraries in Queensland. So I subscribe to this newsletter, and I get an idea of what's going on. They have suggestions for new apps that are out or courses that we might like to be involved in. And my last item in the personal learning network is eLists from ALIA. Now, this is something I really need to subscribe to more. They're just email lists, but they're on a whole range of topics. So we've got an eList for discussing public libraries. We've got an eList for children's and youth services. There's so many down here. LIS issues in Queensland, that's something I should consider joining. I don't feel that I've subscribed to enough eLists, or possibly starting my own might be an option. And that is something I would like to aim to do more as part of my online personal learning network. So they are the main resources inside my personal learning network. I hope you found them useful, and if you have any questions, please leave them in the comments. Thank you very much for your time.